up, Jax? What's up, Robert? How y'all doing today, man?
Good, bro. What's up, man? How y'all doing?
I feel like the grandfather of the group. I'm the old man in the group.
definitely the OG in this one. But I appreciate you guys taking the time, taking time out of your day to come here and hop on this call and talk about life and success and pretty much your own journey. Jackson, I want to start with you and just kind of dive into, how you got to where you're at today, the decisions, that you had to make, which are, big decisions in a teenager's life that not everybody has to make every day to be the person you are today.
Of course, bro. I grew up in a football family. I grew up always wanting to play in the NFL like my dad. I want to be just like him. And then when I just kind of outgrew football, going into like my senior year of high school, I just had to make some big decisions and give up that part of my life and focus on the stuff that I knew was important to me, like basketball and just getting ready for college.
When you had to make that decision between football or hoop, you think over time that decision became easier, or you think there was a specific point you kind of in your career where you're like, nah, I got to give up one and just focus on the other one?
Yeah, I feel like at first, like when I first got to high school, everyone was talking about that, but I tried doing both for as long as I could. And I feel like as I got older, the decision just became easier. Just because I was getting better at basketball and just getting too tall for it. So I just feel like just the logical sense.
I don't think is there anybody 7 foot in the league? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No. Probably not. Definitely probably not. Robert, with you and your military background with your parents, man, who's your biggest role model as a child and going into your teenage years?
When you grow up in a small town like I did, it's a village. And it's almost like they knew my path in life. I had guys that would literally come to my house like, yo, man, we need to go get better. Because you're the future. You're the person that's going to represent our small town and make us look better. And that for me was inspirational, the knowing that I had all those people around me. But at the end of the day, it was my mom and my dad. Because my mom was a teacher. I remember her getting her bachelor's degree, then going on and getting her master's degree. And because she said, the more knowledge you get, the better you're going to be at your profession, and the more money you can make. So I said, okay, I got you, Ma, I got you. And then my dad, who was in the military, spent 28 years in the Army. He taught me that discipline. And to be in the military, you have to be very disciplined. You have to do everything in a certain order. And for me, it was getting up, making my bed, having a breakfast, and starting your day. And that military background had me focused.
Right. Piggybacking on that, Robert, when did you kind of know, you was gonna make it to the league? Did you ever have that moment in your life where it's like, this is a goal, this is not a dream?
After my sophomore year in college, we had just got beat by Loyola Marymount, and I got ranked as one of the top small forwards in the country. And I was like, oh, maybe I can go to that next level. And from there, I just started working on my game, started doing everything to try to prepare myself. Like, I even took lunch breaks to go lift weights. I was just trying to get myself bigger and stronger. And after my sophomore year, that was like, okay, this is my dream. This can become a reality, because it was my plan B. My plan A was to be a teacher. My plan B was to be a professional athlete. And plan B kind of took over and became plan A. And I just started getting better, and I started getting ranked. And, next thing I know, I'm getting drafted by a team I really wanted to go to, in the Houston Rockets.
Yeah. What about you, Jax? When did you think, it kind of clicked for you?
For me, really once I first got to college, I was going into college. They was telling me I was about to get redshirted and stuff. I was gonna have to be there for like 3-4 years. And so I'm going and thinking that, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make it to the league. And then once I got there and started hooping, I just knew right away, it just kind of clicked for me. I'm like, oh, I'm way better than these dudes. I can do this easy. So that's why I was just kind of thinking in my mind. And that whole freshman year, I just kind of set out to prove to myself, and prove to everyone that I knew that I could go to the league in 1 year.
Was everybody supportive, or were they a little kind of shaky about it?
The main thing for my parents and with the support part was, what's your plan B if this goes south? And like Robert kind of said, he had the plan A, which was being a teacher. Plan B was being in the NBA. My plan B was being a real estate agent, and plan A was the NBA for me. So like, I feel like it's just important to have that backup plan And I feel like my family's the one that made that clear to me, just in case if God forbid anything bad ever happens, you always just got that backup.
You know, you talk about your plan B is to be a real estate agent. I hope you still have that plan B on the horizon, because, you know, in your NBA, you kind of get moved around a lot. I bought maybe like 6 or 7 houses. If I was a real estate agent, I could have got that 3%, man. So I'm telling you better get that license, so when it happens, you know, you can.
Oh yeah,
I
already got it my freshman year. I got my real estate license my freshman year of college.
Yeah, for me it's a little different. I mean, I knew I was gonna only do 1 year right when they put the rule in. I didn't want to go to college, to be honest with you. My coach for UCLA came to my crib, and my dad told him straight to his face, like, yo, you got my boy for 9 months. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, before the season even started, like, we out of there after that. So, I mean, I had a great time at UCLA, but it was always just part of my plan just to do 1 year, and I was going to be up, you know, regardless. So,
I remember there's a certain person I met, and it was Bill Russell. And when you have the opportunity to sit down and talk to vets and bend their ear, so to say, and talking to Bill Russell and knowing what he had to go through to get the league where it is there any vet that you just sat down and he just dropped some knowledge to you and you went back and says, like, wow, I didn't know this. You know, I got to make sure the next generation has a better path than the one that I have?
I think the best advice I got is from Bron so far. He sat me down one time in the locker room and he's, you know, obviously he's been through everything. He kind of knew all the crazy stuff that I was going through when I first got to the league, and he told me just to keep the main thing. And that's probably stuck with me the most out of anything anybody's ever told me, just because, you know, he's right. You know, once you take care of what you got to take care of on the court, and everything else falls in place. And especially in today's world, I think, you know, all the kids coming in and stuff, like with all the social media and everybody's saying this, and that, and everything that's going on, sometimes it gets away from basketball. And as long as if you keep hoop first, you know, keep your family first and go from there, that's really all that matters. So I think that's the most important thing that I would like to pass down to younger kids coming up, you know, because it's only going to get crazier, you know, with all the social media and stuff. So for me, just telling them to stay focused and keep the main thing, I think that's the best advice I've gotten so far. Robert, I got a question for you. Just speaking about your game, do you think you always had that like clutch gene, or you think you got it over time? Because you said, you know, you wasn't always the best player, but you were definitely one of the most clutch to ever play. So you think you've always had that, or it just kind of came along with your game?
You know, I feel like I've always had it. It kind of developed in high school when I missed a free throw to win a tournament one time. And after that, seeing how sad my teammates were. Some of them were crying. And for me, I was like, I never want to let my teammates down again. And you focus, you get in the gym, and you work on everything that you feel like you're weak at. And you know the guys I play with, you know, those are some guys who can dominate the basketball. I remember when the first time I got in the league, we were practicing and I yelled at Olajuwon, and everybody looked at me like I was crazy. And it was like, you know, you don't yell at Dream. I says, I'm not yelling at him. I'm telling him to get to his spot on the floor. And from that moment on, he respected me because he knew I knew what was going on. And now he had the confidence in me to be one of his teammates he relied on. You know, the clutch genes come from confidence. You know, you two, you know, coming out early, that means you got the confidence, so you already have it in you. And for me, now that knowing I have the confidence in myself and having a guy like Olajuwon, one of the best players ever played this game, having confidence in you, now your ego is out of this world. So that's how I rolled on, man. I've always had the clutch gene. I always believed in myself because each one of you guys have it. It's just how you perform and how you do it and how much you believe in yourself and how much you get your teammates to believe in you.
Most definitely. So as y'all know, playing in the NBA, there's a lot of highs and lows. What was y'all two's probably lowest moment you guys have had?
I'll take it first. Well, my first lowest moment in basketball actually came after my freshman year in high school. My pops never let me play AAU or no travel ball, nothing like that. So I was just a local kid nobody really knew about, but I got an invitation to the USA camp to make the team, and I ended up getting cut. And that kind of like shaped my whole high school career from that, because I was like, yo, there's no way. And I'm not one of the best 15 players in my class. So I went from like not even being ranked to, I think I made it up to like number 2 by the time I was a senior. So it just gave me motivation just to chase all the guys in front of me that people thought were better than me.
Yeah. You know, when you win 7 championships, you don't really have that many lows, man. But you know, if I have to pick a low, man, I think for me is when I knew my body couldn't do what I wanted to do anymore. And when you get to that end of the tunnel, you said, "Oh man." You know, you see balls and you think you can get it, and then that young guy runs by you and get it. And that for me was a low, because you think about it. This is a game that you start playing as a kid that you love so much. And you dedicate your life to it. You sacrifice so much. And I don't think people understand what athletes, not just basketball players, that all athletes have to sacrifice. They have to sacrifice time. They have to sacrifice friendships, you know, sacrifice not going out when all your buddies going out, because you got to get the proper rest. And for me, spending 7 years in LA, and my last game was with the Spurs and losing to the Lakers, I didn't get to walk off the court sweating or tired or playing a game or taking a shot. So to me, that was the biggest low. And you don't ever want to leave the game on somebody else's terms. You want to leave them on your terms. And I felt like that was left on Pop's turn, where he didn't play me at all. And that was how I ended my career, with no minutes played.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna take it to a more of a positive vibe. You always hear about people talking about their rings, Robert, and you know how they say every ring's a different journey. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I want to ask you, since you got 7 of them, you know, not everybody can say that. But is there one specific ring that sticks out more than the others?
Of course, because it's about the journey. It's about what you have to overcome and the obstacles you have to overcome. In '95, we had we was defending champions, just won in '94 the first ring, and in '95, you sitting there and you thinking you're good, and all of a sudden everybody's getting hurt. You got injuries, and now you're like 7th in the league, in the conference, and then you make a big trade, and you think, okay, now we get Clyde Drexler, we're gonna move up. We only move up to 6 because more injuries happen, and we don't play as a team until the last 4 games of the season. And we go in the playoffs, and we got to go on the road, beat Utah in 5 games. Second round, we win and beat Phoenix Suns. We got down 3-1 in that series to them and came back and won that series. And then we go play San Antonio, who was the best team in basketball, who had David Robinson to win the MVP. Yeah. And then we beat them. And then we go to the finals, and then we sweep Orlando. This is Penny and Shaq. You know, the future of basketball. They had just beat Michael Jordan, who just came back to the league, and they just beat them in the series. And now we got these guys. We sweep them guys. So if you think about the path, the journey, you always want to talk about who you had to defeat to get to that goal. And that was the best run in basketball for me. And I think if you really look back at the league ever, the people we had to beat, all 55 plus win teams to get to that championship. So that second ring I won was amazing, but a close second is my ring that I won with the Lakers, where we went 16-1. You know, we only lose 1 game in the finals, and that 1 game. That's the first game. You know, we lost to Philly in the final. We should have went perfect.
AI was a different beast that year, though.
Well, you know, AI was a different beast, but Kobe was a monster, and Shaq was an ultimate
Kobe
monster.
And Shaq, he had no chance 7 games, no chance. But he got 1. Yeah. I give him his respect for getting that 1.
Yeah, but he took overtime to get it.
Thanks. Robert, OG, coming down here talking to the young guns, man. Appreciate that. Jack's taking some time out of your day to come through, man. Appreciate y'all a lot.
Of course, man.
Say, hey, if you ever need to bend the ear with someone, I'm here. You know, I covered Zoe for a while when he was with the Lakers, so it was always interesting to meet young guys and see the drive.
Yes, sir.